Hello everyone. In today's session, we will study about the unit 4 of microprocessor whose name is a computing and processor basis. It's a part of computer organization and today we have to study the history of computer. Okay. So what is the history of computer? When we study the many aspects of computing and computers, it is important to know about the history of computer. Charles Babbage designed an analytical engine which was general computer. It helps us understand the growth and history of the computer generation. Means this is the first computer, analytical computer, who was designed by the Charles Babbage and which was the general computer. It help us to understand the growth. So we have to understand one thing: history of computer. About history of computer, the first the computer was first invented by the Charles Babbage, and that computer was a totally analytical engine computer. Okay, so here we have to study the history of computer generation. The word computer has a very interesting origin. It was used in the 16th century for a person who used to compute or do the calculation. So here it totally told us the word computer has an interesting origin. It's a very interesting origin. It was first used in the 16th century. The name computer is first used in the 16th century for the person who used to compute or who used to do the calculation on that computer. That person is called as a computer. The word was used in the same sense as a noun until the 20th century, and this word was used until the 20th century. Women were hired as a human computers. Women were hired as a human computers to carry out all the forms of calculations and computations. By the last part of the 19th century, the word was also used to describe the machines. By the last part of 19th century, the word was also used to describe the machine and that did the calculations. The modern day use of word is generally to describe programmable digital device that run on electricity. So in 19th century, the word was also used to describe the machine that did the calculation. Means in 19th century there are some machines and who can do the calculation. And now in modern days, the word is describe the programmable digital device that run on the electricity. Now we use the computer as an electrical device and which is run on the electricity. That is the difference in a previous computer and 19th century computer. So early history of the computer. Since the evolution of human, devices have been used for calculation for thousands of years. There are like a human evolution, the computer evolution has been used for the calculation of thousands of years. One of the earliest and well-known device was an abacus. Abacus is a one of the earliest and well-known device was an abacus, and this is the first computer in the world. Then in 1822, the father of computer, that is the Charles Babbage, began developing what would be the first mechanical computer. After that, the father of computer, that is Charles Babbage, began developing what would be the first mechanical computer. And then in 1833, he actually designed an analytical engine which was general purpose computer, and it contained an ALU, some basic flowchart principles and the concept of integrated memory. Okay, Then more than the century later, in the history of computer, we got our first electronic computer for the general purpose, and it was the name ENIAC, 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 which stands for Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. And this is the first electronic computer of general purpose computer, whose name is ENIAC, Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. And the inventor of this computer were John W. Mauchly and J. Presper Eckert. And with the times, the technology developed and the computers got smaller and the processing is got faster. We got our first laptop in 1981 and it was introduced by the Adam Osborne and Epson. So this is the evolution or history of computers. History of computers. Here, the first computer is Abacus. After that, Charles Babbage uh, invent analytical engine computer who do the some mathematical operation. After that, ENIAC computer was invented, and after that some after that the computer got smaller and processing got faster, and now we got the laptop from 1981 and it was introduced by the Adam Osborne and Epson. So that is the history of computer, how the computer size is reduced by day, and this is a thousand of year processing. So now we get a very compact device, very small device. We can port anywhere the computer. So this is an progress of technology through the times. According to time, how much progress is coming in this technology we have given here. So firstly, in 1950s, we use in the computer vacuum tubes. Vacuum tube is what? One vacuum tubes are the tubes which are used in the first computer, mechanical computer. Here, one bit on the size of thumb. Vacuum tubes, one bit is the size of thumb. Okay. Now then, after that, transistor was invented from 1950s to 1960s. One bit on the size of fingernail. नखा एवढं पहिल्यांदा बीट एक बीट काय असते एका अंगठ्या एवढं होतं व्हॅक्यूम ट्यूबमध्ये, आणि सेकंड ट्रान्झिस्टरमध्ये नखा एवढा एक बीट होता. त्यानंतर इंटिग्रेटेड सर्किट was invented and thousands of bit on the size of a hand silicon computer chip. The IC, integrated circuit, was invented in that session in 1960s to 17. So the thousands of bit ऑन द साईज ऑफ हँड सिलिकॉन कम्प्युटर चिप, म्हणजे एका हातासारखी जी सिलिकॉन चिप आहे त्याच्यावर हजारो बीट हे प्लेस केलेले होते. and in a silicon computer chip, that is a 1970s and so on, millions of bits on the size of fingernail, म्हणजे एका नखा एवढ्या चिपवर मिलियन्स ऑफ बीट प्लेस केलेले आहेत. तर एवढा साईज हा रिड्यूस होत आहे, दिवसेंदिवस रिड्यूस झालेला आहे, आणि त्याच्यामुळेच कम्प्युटरचा साईज हा कमी झालेला आहे. ओके, so this is the history of the computer. The progression of the easy of use of computer, almost impossible to use the except by very patient geniusness in 1950, and the programmable by highly trained people only 1960s and 1970s. Usable by just about anyone 1980s and on, to see how the computer got smaller, cheaper and easier to use. So that is about the history of computer. You have to understand the history of computer. The first computer was invented by the Charles Babbage. But before that, there is one computer that name is Abacus computer. Abacus computer. After that, Charles Babbage invent the first analytical computer who does some mathematical operation. And now the size of computer is very compact or smaller in size, so we can put anywhere. So that is about the history of computer. So thank you for watching, and